actually been with Bell coming up 25 years. 1st of March will be 25 years, so it's a long haul. Yeah, 1st of March, 25 years service with the company. Been in the industry about 40 odd years, and I'm the sales and marketing director for Bell in Southern Africa.
Absolutely, and the company's got a real rich history, proudly South African. Can you tell viewers a bit about the history of the company and some of the advancements?
Sure. The company's just celebrated its 60th anniversary, so it's been around a long time. It was started by Irvin Bell, way back all those years ago. Traditionally, we're in the sugar industry. That's how we kicked our business was in the sugar business in Zululand, and then we progressed into the forestry business. It was really only sort of towards the 80s, late 80s, that we started entering into the quarrying and the surface mining business. And we've grown that side of our business substantially. That's mining and construction now is the biggest markets we compete in. And of course, along with that, we've grown the product range quite dramatically. So we cover the full spread now that services those industries, pretty much door to door.
Well, what is the key differentiator between you and the competition that's put you ahead of the pack?
Yeah, I think, we think we are a proudly South African company. Our roots are here. We understand what it takes to build equipment for Africa. African conditions traditionally are pretty hard, severe, and we, with our roots firmly entrenched here, we understand what it has to take to build that equipment. So proudly South African, we're passionate about what we do. We've got good people, and I think that fundamentally, we compete in a very tough market. We compete with all the major global players, and for us to do that, we've got to be as good, if not better. We can't simply be expecting business because we want loyal South Africans to support us. We'd love that, but you've actually got to compete on the world stage with things like safety, environmental issues, productivity, fuel efficiency. So you've got to have the whole package. And for us to compete with the big brand names all over the world, which we do, in Europe, in America, and Asia, we've got to have the full package.
Can you talk about some of the R&D that goes into your products?
Sure. We spend probably 4% of our revenue on R&D. It's a huge part of our business, and we're forever ploughing new machines into the market. As we speak, we've got the Bell B60, which is the world's largest articulated dump truck, which is under prototype testing right now. It's a very interesting concept, and we will want to bring that truck to the market probably this time next year. We've got another year of prototype testing, but it's an articulated 60-ton truck, and it's a 4x4. So it's unlike a 3-axle ADT, it's a 2-axle ADT, but it competes traditionally with the rigid market, but it's 4-wheel drive and it's articulated.
So articulation's always been the cornerstone of your business. That's what kind of put you guys in the
Yes, our core product is the articulated dump truck. It remains that way. That's what we build in Richards Bay, and we've now got the world's largest range. We go from an 18-tonner currently up to a 50, but with the advent of the 60, we'll be into the 60-ton market. So that's been the cornerstone of our truck range. But as I say, we have strong alliances now with some major players, being John Deere being one, the Liebherr organisation, Finlay, the Finlay crushing and screening equipment out of Ireland, and our other alliance, which has been wonderful, is Bomag out of Germany, which is the compaction range of equipment.
So you've got some really nice partners to do business with.
We have, and we've got strong partners. Our alliance partners are key to our success, and I think we cherish those partnerships because they do give us the spread of equipment.
And can you talk a bit more about your Richards Bay facility and what that produces?
Yeah, Richards Bay is the main manufacturing plant, and they produce fundamentally out of there all the articulated dump trucks. The tractor loader backhoe, the TLB, gets manufactured in Richards Bay, as do a lot of the forestry and sugar products. The tractors, the three-wheelers, the traditional three-wheel product which Bell started with, is still manufactured in large numbers in Richards Bay. All the R&D takes place in Richards Bay, and then over and above that, quite a lot of the components are manufactured in Richards Bay, get shipped across to our assembly plant in Germany, a place called Eisenach, where the trucks for the Northern Hemisphere are assembled. The Eisenach facility is actually an assembly facility, not a manufacturing facility, and all comes together in Eisenach. But a lot of those components actually are built in Richards Bay and then get shipped across.
Presumably the trucks would have different specs for the UK and the African market?
No, we build truck to one spec, because by doing so we make it pretty well interchangeable.
Bloody hard then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's certain issues around the engine, tier 3 and tier 4 engines, but traditionally the trucks are pretty standard throughout.
Absolutely. And you've also got your new Middelburg facility.
Yeah.
That must be to maintain this big fleet.
Well, Middelburg's a wonderful new facility. As we speak, actually we've just opened up Rustenburg. So we've opened up new branches in the two sweet areas where mining was very bullish in South Africa. Sadly, with the commodity prices where they are, we've seen a tremendous drop-off in the coal market. So that's hurting our new Middelburg facility. And likewise in Rustenburg, with the platinum strike there and the issues around platinum, Rustenburg's taken some heat. But we built these facilities for the long haul. These facilities will see us through for the next 30 or 40 years. They're state-of-the-art facilities. Rustenburg, as we speak, opens now. Earlier last year, we also opened up a new facility in Nelspruit, and as well in January this year, we opened up a facility in Kitwe, and they're all built on the same scale. They're all the same model of facility, and Kitwe is now operational, up and running. So yeah, we've had some lovely new customer service centres, and that really is all to support the customer at the end of the day. We want to be close to them, on their doorstep, where they operate, and that's the theory behind that.
Plans for sub-Saharan Africa?
Yeah, we're very active in Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Malawi,
Salisbury,
DRC. So those are bell-load operations, and the further north we go, we then make use of dealers. So in East and West Africa, typically we've got dealers who represent our product, but in Southern Africa, Sub-Saharan Southern Africa, they're bell-owned operations, like for example Bell Mozambique, Bell Zambia, Bell Zimbabwe, fully owned.
And you brought up strike with your Richards Bay operations affected too?
Yeah, the strike hurt us last year. There's no question about that. The NUMSA strike had a pretty crippling effect on this economy generally, but it certainly hurt us. Richards Bay manufacturing facility basically came to a halt for that month of July, as did our Johannesburg facility, Jet Park. We were under siege there, and it hurt. It was a crippling strike, and I think it's still, to some extent, the effects of that strike are still being felt.
And to look more positively in the next 12 to 24 months, where are the key growth areas for you guys?
Look, we right now, as we speak, the mining industry is definitely feeling the heat. Commodity prices, particularly things like coal, iron ore, copper, are hurting. We've got the Eskom labour issue, the Eskom power issue, which is put a bit of a damper on things. I think you can even feel it at this mining in Durban. And then throw in the labour issue. So there are a couple of key issues that we need to deal with in this country in terms of mining to get it up and running at full speed again. I think it will. I don't think it's going to be in the short term. I think we're in for a tough 2015. But these commodities do have a cyclical nature, and they will come out of it, and with that, mining will come out of it. But so for the next 18 to 24 months, I believe it's a question of battening down the hatches. We've got all our facilities in place now: Middelburg, Rustenburg, Kitwe. So growth areas we don't see. We'd love to see just some stability in our.
There's more consolidation.
Consolidation. It's a period of bedding things down. We've got the products, we've got the people, we've got the facilities. We now need to see some of the macroeconomic issues, as I say, like commodity prices, like the Eskom issue, like labour. If we can get this country can get their hand on those major issues. We're optimistic. We think there's huge, and particularly in the whole of Africa. This continent's full of wonderful commodities and resources, and we're here to capitalise on it in the long term. But it's and there's one thing about the equipment business. You're in it for the long haul. and it's not a short-term win-gain situation. You've got to be in it for the long haul, and you've got to ride out. You've got to be prepared to ride out the storm, as it were.
And exports, so how much of your product do you export?
South Africa still is our major market, but having said that, if you look at the group revenue, total revenue for last year, for example, South Africa represented about 45% of group revenue, and 55% would be for the rest of the world. But South Africa is still a hugely important market. But yeah, exports are critical for us, and we export all over the world, literally from in all 5 continents. We have a presence in some particularly strong markets for us.
And your impressions of the Indaba this year?
As I said, funny enough, I've been at every single 21 of these Indabas. I came in 21 years ago, whatever that was, 1994, I think it would have been. Yeah, it was at the Cape Sun Hotel.
And you had to queue to get up there.
Correct, and I think there were probably 200 delegates. So there's been massive growth in this Indaba, but I would say the mood here this year isn't as bullish as it's been in the past. I don't think there is many people. I think it's still very well attended, clearly, but I think people are cautious. I don't see it as a bullish mood, but also people understand that they also got to ride out the storm a little bit and wait for things to pick up. But overall, good to see a lot of our customers here. I think we could do with a few new interesting projects. That's, I think, the thing that's lacking most is new projects in South Africa, particularly mining projects. I think I've certainly seen it more bullish and people more optimistic than they have been this year.
And the electricity energy crisis, what do you think it's going to take to turn that thing around?
Greg, I wish I had the answer for that, but I do think that we need to come up with a more sustainable plan. I don't think load shedding every day is the answer. I think if they've got a maintenance, if Eskom have got a maintenance issue, I'd like to see them come out and say, right, we've got a load shed for 16 hours a day for the next month, but in that month we are going to fix the problems. We're going to get the maintenance done, we're going to get the generators up and running, and if we've got to take real pain for a month, I'd rather we have that than this on-off for the next 5 years, because that does no one. I really think they need to come up with a plan where they say month, 2 months, 3 months even. You're in it. It's going to be painful, but when you come out of that, we're going to be free. And I think that's what I'd like to see.
Doesn't seem to be a plan.
There seems to be a lack of a plan. That's the concern I think that most South Africans have is, what is the plan? And if there is a plan, then communicate it to us. Tell us what the plan is. Because right now, I don't think anyone really knows what the plan is.
And looking back over the rich history of Bell, what would you highlight as the major pinnacle, the cherry on the top?
For me, I just think being with an organisation that I think has certainly started off as a very humble little family business 60 years ago to come to a point where we are regarded as a global player right across the world stage. I've been very privileged to be part of that for 25 years. I've seen enormous growth. So for me, I think it's been the journey. It's been an incredible journey, and I say from even when I joined in 1990, a very humble little organisation, fiddling around here and there. Today we're a pretty decent sized player. So I think the overall growth we've achieved, the alliance partners we've been able to secure, and the footprint we've made, particularly on the African continent, I think is probably the highlight for me.
So can you put a number on your turnover annually?
This past year, it's going to be in the order of, let me get it right, total group turnover would be in the order of about 6 billion. 6 billion rand.
And in terms of, do you guys design your own engines as well?
No, we use the Mercedes-Benz engines pretty much, and the John Deere engines. Our truck range is the Mercedes-Benz engine, but some of the other products have John Deere engines. We still use the Deutz engine in some of our smaller products. So we don't manufacture our own large components like engines and transmissions, but we manufacture our own axles, we manufacture our own cylinders, we manufacture our own cabs. bins. So there's a huge amount of local content that goes in, but the engine and transmission, and for obvious reasons the tyres, the radial tyres, are all fully imported still.
And the level of skill within South Africa to put those pieces together?
Yeah, I mean we've got a very competent R&D team, as I say, mechanical engineers, and yeah, we do a lot of in-house training, things like welding. A lot of in-house welding, because clearly that's a key component of manufacturing. Heavy weld is one of our core competencies, heavy weld. But you can't ever do enough training. We do technical training, we do artisan training. So we have a very successful accredited training facility in Richards Bay, which is much needed today, because sadly we've seen a tremendous decline in the level of technical training that's out there. The old technicons,
the apprenticeships are gone.
Exactly, the old technicons seem to be no more, and so we train over 100 apprentices a year through our training facility in Richards Bay, and that's a huge value add.
So you say are you one of the companies that are doing the most in terms of upskilling?
In our business, by far, absolutely. There's no one who equals what we do in terms of technical training.
What have been some of the success stories? You've taken a guy from grassroots and taken him through the ranks.
Yeah, we've seen some of our young guys come through in the organisation, start off and come through into senior managerial roles in the technical side, either it be in the aftermarket or indeed at the factory. So that's very pleasing to see some of the growth in-house that we've been able to develop.
And the relationship with John Deere finally must be give and take. You must learn a lot from each other.
Yeah. John Deere is a world-class, massive organisation. It's an icon American company, and we have learnt a lot from them. I think they've learnt from us as well. But they have wonderful systems. They've got some wonderful products, and they've been a very good partner for us. I think we came on board in 1996, so it's nearly 20 years we've had that partnership. They're still a major shareholder in the organisation, and we've grown and learnt a lot from John Deere. And I think that partnership's going to go from strength to strength.